Hello there, guys. Who's here with me already? And another question, can you guys hear me okay? I'll be looking at the chat here off and on while I'm doing this, trying to see if there's anything that you guys ask me or want me to go over a little bit better. I'm gonna be trying to build that throttle quadrant that I told you yesterday I was gonna try to do, and let's see how it goes. There's still I kind of did a little bit of it already ahead of time, but there's still a lot that I need to do, including basically putting the whole thing together, wiring it, and then putting it on the test panel and see if it actually works. So basically, these are the things that I told you I found. You know, they're a little bit too big for my liking, but they do the job. You know, so this is the ones that I'm going to be using for the mixture and for the throttle itself. So normally, you know, I guess these are like, I think on the barges at work we have some of these and we use them for to control the RPM on the engine. And so normally a cable would go attached right here, and that cable, you know, when you pull on it and push on it, you know, that cable is the one that basically pulls and pushes on the throttle body, I guess, inside, you know, somewhere near the engine. And of course you can also twist it, you know, to increase the RPM. It takes forever though, but it's good to make little adjustments. And then you can also, you know, go clockwise to decrease the RPM. Actually, in the airplanes, it's actually the opposite, right? You pull it out to decrease it, and you push it in to increase it. And of course, it has the handy little lock, so that if you want to lock it, and you know, you can't move it. So you could still twist it, but it's even hard to do that. So you got to kind of loosen it up a little bit to make it easier. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, even though we only have 3 people, and apparently one of those people is probably myself. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on this. It's just a little, you know, wood panel that I put together. I don't know how good you can see it there. And this is where I'm gonna put the 2 things. Obviously they're gonna be over here on this side. And then I'm gonna put the wiring and everything, you know, it's gonna go in here. So when I'm all done, it's basically gonna be, they're gonna be like mounted here, you know, and all the electrical stuff and everything is gonna be along the inside over here. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do today. And like I said, I done a little bit ahead of time because it's probably going to take me a very long time to do this, so it would have been even longer if I didn't do some of this ahead of time. But it's not very difficult to, you know, to put together. This is, you know, even if it was going to be an actual panel that I was going to use, I wouldn't be doing it in this. You know, I would probably make a nicer little box or something that can be, that all the wiring and everything can be hidden. But just for testing purposes, you know, to mount it, I think this will do. So let me explain. So what I had to do, I bought myself where did I put it? I know I had it somewhere here. You know how it goes when you need something, you can't find it. Hold on. Oh, here it is. It's right behind me and right next to me, and I can't even find it. So what I did was I bought an aluminum piece of rod. It's a 3/8 inch, and it was a 36-inch rod here. Not sure how good the focus is on this. Because the potentiometers that I'm going to be using is these sliding ones right here. So, you know, basically what it is, you know, as you move the slider, this is going to basically, it's a voltage divider, you know, so that's how SimVim Cockpit interprets the signals. And it's going to be, you know, when the voltage is all the way down to 0, it's going to be, you know, throttle idle or all the way out. And when it's full in, it's going to be full throttle. I'm not sure if it determines it by voltage of 0 is fully off, and voltage of, you know, maximum or 5 volts is fully open. But that's something that we can find out, and we can actually, you know, just swap it if we needed to, and we can actually put a flag in SimVim Cockpit that will reverse it. So even if you wired it wrong and everything, you can still reverse it. But what I've noticed lately is that a lot of times when I have done that, like for example for my parking brake or for the fuel cutout switch, it actually doesn't save that setting. If I go back into the configurator and I redo it, then it basically erases what I had before. So let's see how that works. And obviously these right here, you know, they have 3 pins. They have one over here on this side, which is gonna probably be my negative, and then I have 2 over here, which one of them is the voltage coming in, and the other one will be the voltage that gets reduced or increased depending on where you have the slider. So that's gonna come into play. So in order to do this, I was thinking for a very long time. I was thinking, how am I gonna do this, you know? And I thought about many different ideas of how to get this done. So basically what I did is I cut a little piece, and this once again I did it ahead of time because it was gonna just take too long to do it live. But I cut that the 3/8 inch aluminum rod, and I cut it into sections that I needed. Now these potentiometers, they're probably a little bit too long for this. I wish I would have bought some that were like maybe 3/4 of the length of this. These are 130 millimeters. I probably should have got some like 75 or 80 if they have them. I think they do. And then I have some other ones that are little ones. I think these are considered 40 or 60 millimeters. I don't remember. But these are too short, because obviously if you look at the throw that this throttle thing has, you know, it's a lot more than this. So, you know, you wouldn't be able to go through the full range. You know, you would just basically be able to go out about maybe about this much, and that's not enough. But like I said, I think that for these it's probably a little bit too much, but we'll see how it works out. So what I needed to do, I needed to find a way that I could attach the, you know, something that will slide my potentiometer when I pull on it. When I pull on it, you know, something was gonna have to basically pull the potentiometer this way, and then when I pushed on it, which I think I'm a little bit out of frame here. So, you know, and then when I pushed on it, it would have to basically push the potentiometer back out. So I was thinking for a very long time, how am I going to do this? So what I ended up doing is I ended up having to drill a hole. I'm not sure how good this is going to focus here, because it looks like sometimes they want to focus real good and sometimes they don't. But I had to drill a hole right at the very end here. And at the same time, I also had to drill a hole here and have a little slot so that this thing over here can basically attach to it like this. So that's what I ended up doing. So, you know, now that this is probably, yeah, this is the right one, I think. So now that I have that in there, you know, now I basically attach them together, and then I can I have to make sure that it's all the way, because if it's not going to be able to go through the thing. So, but now, you know, I can pull it. Let me loosen it up a little bit. And it's not correct right now, but you see how it does go all the way through now? And then I can slide it back out. I need to grease it up and everything. Once I finish everything, I do plan on greasing it up. So then I had to also make this other hole over here. I was going to do it with a Dremel tool with a little saw edge that I have, but it was making it very messy. So what I ended up doing is just drilling holes. You know, I just drilled multiple holes until I got a width long enough so that I can put that little thing on the potentiometer through there like this. So now my plan is going to be somehow to be able to basically mount it somewhere, so that once this is mounted in its place, you know, and I pull on it, it's going to make the potentiometer slide. And something's not right here on this one yet. You know, I still have to make sure that it's right. But I'll show you the other one that I have. This is the one that I'm going to use for the mixture, which, you know, I painted the end red because that's the color of the mixture ones, of course, you know. And this one I'm going to use for the throttle, which is, you know, it's going to stay black. This one I think I did put a little bit of grease already. Let me see how good this one slides here. So Yeah, so this one slides pretty good, as you can see. So that's the plan. You know, I'm gonna put the potentiometer through there, and then once everything is mounted the way it's supposed to be, you know, I'll just be able to increase and decrease the throttle like this. That's the plan. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Like I said, I already took some steps ahead of time and started getting things ready. So we're gonna basically pick up where I left off here, and you know, maybe hopefully some of you guys would join me along for that. So earlier I was playing around with I was trying to determine, you know, what is the height that I'm gonna need in order to be able to mount the let me go to the other camera real quick here. Okay, so I have another camera, but it doesn't want to seem to focus right. Every time I try to use it for myself, it focuses perfectly fine, but when I try to use it for this, it seems like the focus is not really that good. I've tried autofocus, I tried manual focus, and maybe they don't like this matte, and that's what allows it not to focus. But then if I use just a black piece of wood under it, it shines the light too much, so I don't want to do that. Alright, so basically what I was trying to find out is how high I needed to drill the holes for this, so that when I put the potentiometer down here, it'll be at the right height, you know, for it to be right there. And another thing I had to figure out is how am I going to mount the potentiometer there so that it doesn't move. So I was playing around with possibly using a little piece of wood like this one right here. I was going to basically cut sections of it and maybe drill a couple of holes in it. And you know, the potentiometers, they have some little tiny legs right here that you can probably use to kind of make it stay in one place. But I was kind of doubting that was going to work out very good, so I ended up abandoning that idea. And then I remembered I had some of this closet shelving material here that I got at the Home Depot. So what I ended up doing is I ended up, you know, figuring out a way to do that. So what I did, let me go back to the other camera, since it's sharper. I think I don't like the color, but it's sharper. So what I ended up doing is I ended up drilling two little tiny holes where I'm gonna put those two little legs. So I'm basically just gonna, you know, stick them in there like that. And then once I got everything secure, I'm gonna bend, you know, the other, I probably don't even need to, but maybe I'll bend the other side of the legs down here so that it doesn't go anywhere. And then as you noticed, it also has two holes for some screws, or you know, so when I put it here wherever it's gonna go and I mount the potentiometer there, then it's gonna be secure, and the only thing that's gonna be moving is the slider going up and down. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works out. Now my initial idea, I was taking some measurements earlier right here, and I was looking at the distance. It looks like I had to be about this high off the bottom surface there so that it could be at the right height. So I made myself those marks, and that's where I'm gonna drill the little holes, or the big holes. I think these are 0.75 inch. Let me see, let me try one more time. Oops. Yeah, the thickest part, they're about 0.75 inch, 74. So a 3/4 inch hole is what I need to make in order to put those through that piece of wood there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one of them now, and hopefully hopefully it'll work out according to what I thought. So in my estimates here, I need to be, it's like 1 5/8 inches from the bottom is where I need to make that hole. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first one here. I just really hope all this works out at the end. So I'm gonna make my mark here for the two holes. Maybe I should just try to do one first, right, before instead, in case I mess it up. But I feel pretty confident about it. But you know what they say, measure twice, cut once, so that you don't regret it. So I'm gonna try to center them over those screws that I put there. So the first one will be like right there, and I had already marked them, but I guess I handled this and it got erased. And the other one is gonna be right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill those holes, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I cut the first hole already here. So we're gonna find out if it's gonna work out the way I thought it would. I'll go to the other camera here. Alright, so I was figuring out earlier that this is about where I want to have this nut right here. Because if I do tighten this, you still need to have a little bit of room for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it there. Now that hole is a little bit tight, even though it is 3/4, but well, maybe I should make it a little bit bigger just to make it easier. Let's see. Alright, let's see if that made it any better. Yep, it sure did. Alright, so shouldn't let all that dust get in there. Alright, so now we're gonna have to put this over here. Let me put the potentiometer the way it's supposed to be here. Alright. And then, well, this is gonna be pretty tough to do then, huh? Not before. Because, let's see. No, the hard part is gonna be how to put that in there. Well, I guess I can always put it on here afterwards. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, so now that it's there, if I can kind of hold it in place, obviously before I do that, oh, see, that's how I was thinking about. So I'll try to make this a little bit tight here. Alright, so I'm not gonna make it for, like if it was final already, but so what I was thinking is this, that I can put this, make sure that this little hole is on the underneath, and then I can just go ahead and put it in there and then put it on there. That should work, I hope. Well, afterwards, the good thing is that I can twist it however I need to. But that seems to work pretty good. I need to figure out exactly where I need to have it, so that when I go, and actually I don't even need to go full out and full in. I think I could just go out as far as I need to. So maybe I can just do, like maybe 3/4 of the way out, and then you can go all the way in. And you can adjust in SimVim Cockpit, you can adjust the range of any potentiometer, so you don't have to use the full range. So you just got to make sure that it's kind of lined up so that it doesn't stress it. It has to feel pretty smooth as you're going through the motion here. That looks pretty good. Yeah, this is gonna be the tough part, is how am I gonna secure that, because I can't put the bolts or the screws on this white metal part on the bottom, the one that looks like this. I can't secure it until I mean, I need to secure it before I put the potentiometer in there. But then when I put the potentiometer, how am I going to close the little legs on the potentiometer? That's going to be a good one. I'll probably just do something to not, maybe not make it final, just so we can get through everything and you know, make sure that it's even going to work. And then I can go back later and do that and, you know, make it a little bit more final. Either way, like I said, I'm probably not even going to use this. This is just going to be an experiment. So it doesn't have to be a final product for me, at least. Because hopefully soon I'll be getting my honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. And that's basically going to be what I'm going to use. So let's see. Well, actually, I'll probably wire. I'm gonna connect some wires to this right now, just so that we can try it. Let's see. So, I think you know, I'm gonna try something here to find out which one is going to be our positive and our negative and all that. So let's see. Alright, so I'm going to connect a little battery pack here to this. This is going to be our positive and our negative. And then I'm thinking that this side over here is going to be our negative here. So I'll just put that on there and connect it to the negative. And then, oh man, let's try this one here. We'll just assume that that's going to be the positive. Alright, so let's see what we get here. So we put one of our leads on the negative here. I'll put the other one right here. So that's giving us 2.43 volts. I'll put it about halfway down. Yeah, now we're only getting 1 volt, 1.02. So this all the way down here should be 0. Yep. So anyways, it looks like that's the way it's gonna be, because if I try to put the positive over here, let me see, that gives us 2.35. If I go all the way down, oh, it did give us less. Let me see. No, but that's already given us 2.26, and it's almost all the way down. And that's giving us a 2.41. So this is definitely going to be the positive right here, and this is going to be the wiper, which is going to be the one that, you know, that changes voltage when you slide it. So I'm going to go ahead and wire, solder some wires onto there. And then maybe we'll even just go into the configurator and try it out in the cockpit, you know, inside the Cessna 172, and see how it behaves. I kind of just want to do this just to see if it's even going to work, but I just ran into that little hiccup there that is going to make it a lot more difficult to, you know, to try to do it, actually, to make it stay there. That's the only problem that I'm having. Those screws that I was going to use to secure this little metal piece right there actually ended up getting in the way. So I need to figure something else out. But for now, we're only going to try to make this work and see if this little experiment will even be feasible, which I'm pretty sure it will, but just to be on the safe side. Now I'm gonna get, I actually was gonna do this with double-sided tape on top of this originally, and then I changed my mind for some reason. Alright, so let's do this. I need to figure out how SimVim Cockpit is going to interpret the signal that's going to be coming out of there. That's what I need to do. And in order to do that, I need to have it connected to the simulator. Alright, I'm back. So after technical difficulties that I was having, I decided to just stop the recording and stop the stream, and I was going to think of some ideas that I was going to, make this work. So I ended up already fixing the one for the mixture. What I ended up having to do is basically drill the holes for the screws on the sides so that it doesn't raise the potentiometer any further. And then I also found that I drilled a very small hole through the place where I'm gonna put that rod through right there, so that I can put a wire through like I did right here, so that it can hold the rod up, because I found that sometimes as it's going through the travel, it would get a little bit stuck because it had fallen all the way to the bottom. So now that kind of holds it up so it's more straight throughout the whole range of travel, and it seems to be a little bit smoother. I still need to put the grease on here, but I haven't done it yet until I finish messing around with this. So now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and solder a wire for the ground to this other one here, and then we're gonna go ahead and continue building the rest of it. And I'm gonna basically edit this video down and I'm gonna post it on the channel, but it's not gonna be as long as the live one was, because that was extremely long. So let me see if the soldering iron is hot enough already, and it seems like it is. So alright, that's good enough for the ground. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna put this over here just so I can get my ground and everything from here. Actually, maybe I should probably put it out here just so it's not in the way of anything. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Alright, so I have some double-sided tape on this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take off this other side. And remember, this is all temporary. If I was gonna be doing this for an actual setup, so it could stay there, I probably wouldn't do a lot of the things that I'm doing right here. This is just because it's just for the test panel. It's like a proof of concept to see if it could even be done. So I'm gonna take this one here. I already drilled the holes for the other rod, and right there, where the potentiometer is gonna go, and where I'm gonna put the thing affixed to right here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go ahead and secure this onto the metal plate here. So I drilled these two little holes where I'm gonna put these tiny little legs that I'm gonna bend on the underside so that it won't move. And alright, so they're there. I just go ahead and bend them. I'm afraid that if it gets a little bit stuck and I have to pull on it too much with the throttle head, I think that I don't know if it'll make these come up. I'm hoping it won't. Alright, so now the potentiometer is pretty secure to that. So now I just go ahead and put it right here where it needs to be. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rod on it. I already put some grease in here, you almost can't see it anymore, but you could see it right there, just to make it spin a little bit easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there so that I can determine the final resting position of this thing. Alright, so there it is. And I might as well just put the little piece of wire through that hole that I told you about under there, so it doesn't fall all the way. You can see that it's, maybe it's hard to see it right here, but you can see that it falls all the way flush. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hold it up like this a little bit, so that as it goes through its range of motion, it's already at the height that it needs to be. Alright, so let me see where this looks like it would need to be. I'm just gonna roll it through its motion here. It looks like it raises it up a little bit. I might still need to put this, I had put this little piece of wood on there. So just so I can raise it a little bit, I might still need to have it there then. The majority of the range is pretty smooth except for the last third. It seems like it's pretty rough. Alright, so it looks like right there is going to be the final resting place. So I'm going to go ahead and put the screws on there. Yeah. Let's see if it's still good. Yeah, it's good. Now I'll go ahead and do the other side. Alright. Now they don't move very much. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a little piece of wire to go to the ground rail right here. That's the reason why I like these little ones that already have the female headers there, because they're very, very nice for connecting an extra piece of wire to. So I'll just strip a little tiny piece of this, and I just probably need about that much. So go ahead and cut it and strip the other side. Then I just stick it in there, and I'll just put it somewhere in here. And that's it for that. I'll do the same for the other one. And they're pretty strong. They won't come off easily. That's probably good right there. Strip a little piece. And then just put it somewhere out of here. Alright, so that's gonna be for the ground. Now we're gonna have to take the positive, which I think it was this one here. It's gonna be the one on this side. It's the opposite, the one on the opposite side of where the ground is. So let me put it this way for now. So for this one, I think I'm gonna solder a little piece of wire directly from here to here. Alright, so the soldering iron is still there. So basically I'm just gonna grab from here, I'll solder it onto there, and then I'll bring it over to the positive here. Okay, so all we need is a little piece, so I'll just cut it somewhere right here. Oops. Alright, now we'll do the same thing for the other one here. Alright, so that one's good. Now we just strip a little piece off the tip here. You know, I'm gonna make it go underneath like this. Then I'll just bring it right in here. All right, that looks pretty good. For the wiper over here, we're gonna need, you know, something that we can remove more just for now. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll just use some of these right here, which have a female on both ends, and then I'll just put another piece of this same kind of wire going directly to the Arduino pin, because that's where they're gonna end up. So we can just do something like this, and then it'll just be an open connection like this for both of them. Alright, I found the green one here, so I'll just go ahead and do one orange one and one green one here, and that should be fine. So now we need to bring the test panel over here so that we can join it up to the test panel, because our test panel is the one that has the Arduino already on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that, and then we'll go through the rest of it. Alright, so here's the old test panel here. Let me go back to the other camera again. Alright, so basically what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna hook up the throttle panel that I just made right now, and we're gonna basically hook it up to the rest of this, to the Arduino. So for analog connections, you know, you have two choices. You can either put an input multiplexer to be an analog multiplexer, or you can bring the analog connections directly to the A0 through A15 pins, which are over here on this side of the Arduino. As you can see, I already have one right there on A0. That's the one that's going to the potentiometer that's in front of the panel there. So what I'm gonna do for this one, I think maybe we'll just do I'll do A5 and A7 for this one. So we also need to bring to the potentiometers, the sliding ones, we need to bring a positive and a negative, and then the A5 and A7 will come from the wiper of the throttle and the mixture and go directly into the Arduino. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this to this side so that I have enough room to work here with the other one. Hopefully you'll still be able to see what I'm doing there. Alright, well, there's almost not enough room to make both of them, you know, be there at the same time, but I'll try to explain here what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So we need to bring a ground over to this little power distribution panel. Remember, I use power distribution panels for just about everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring ground to there, and I think that we can probably bring, yeah, We can grab directly from the Arduino, or we can grab it from the power distribution hub that I have in the center there. But I think since I have a free and open ground over here on this multiplexer, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab it from there. So I'll stick one end of this wire there, and then I'll just put the other end in here. That's good enough. Alright, now we need to put a 5 volts also. So once again, we can either grab it directly from the Arduino, or I can grab it from the power rail that I have over there on the test panel. Let me see, I'm gonna get the 5 volts directly from the Arduino because it looks like, yeah, I'll just get it from the Arduino right in here. And then I'll just put that one in here. Yeah, that's a long wire. Okay, so that's going to be our 5 volts right there. And then we need to get a wire that goes from each one of these, from the sliding potentiometers, and we need to take them to pins number A5 and A7 on the Arduino. Alright, so I'll take this one right here for the mixture. We'll stick that end in there. And I'm just going to strip a little piece off of the end here. And I said that one was going to be A7. And as you can see right now, I'm leaving all the wires long, you know, just because this is only temporary, and I'm going to be using these wires probably for something else later. So I'm not even cutting everything, you know, to the size that I need it. Alright, so that was that one, and now I'll put this one right here to the other potentiometer. Oops, that one seems like it slid out. Okay, yeah, sometimes you need to hold those in because they kind of slide away. And this one's going to go to number 5 on the Arduino. So it's going to be A5 for the throttle and A7 for the mixture. Alright, so now that we have that in there, we can go ahead and go to the configurator. I already had this little data file here that it was just the test panel one that I was working with before. So we're going to assign them to pin A5 and A7. So we're here on the Cessna 172, so we'll select the engine throttle, go to A5 and put it in there, and then we'll select the engine mixture and put it on A7, and we'll save the configuration, always under the same name. And now we can go to X-Plane, and we need to bring out the status page, and we also need to bring out, we'll do that right now. So we'll just basically reload the configuration. You might have to do a hardware reconnect. Okay, there it is. So it found it. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and play around with the throttle here. I'm gonna be showing you the camera at the same time, and let me put the cockpit here so you can see. Alright, so if we move around the mixture, let's see, you can see that it is moving. So that one's definitely working. And we can also twist it to make it go slowly. It takes a very long time, so obviously you would want to do this when you're already near the RPM that you want it. Alright, now let's try the throttle here. Okay, so the throttle's also working. So as you can see right now, if you look here on the simulator, you can see that the throttle's not all the way in. So even though I'm all the way in right here, if you can barely see it there on the edge of the screen on the very bottom here, you can see that on the simulator is not all the way in. Oh, this one has a little bit of noise. It's affecting the other one a little bit. That's interesting. But so anyway, so we need to calibrate this one so that when we're all the way in, the throttle can be all the way in on the simulator. So what we need to do is we open up this right here and we go to analog calibration, and we're going to do this one here. So it tells us to go through the full range of motion. So we're going to basically do all the way out and all the way in. And then we can go ahead and put finish. And there we go. So now it's calibrated. So now if we look at the throttle, we can see that now it goes all the way in. Yeah, there's something funny. I'm not sure why the other one is reacting. This one doesn't, but this one does. It's making the mixture go a little bit. So it's well, like always, I'm pretty sure it's something in my wiring. But as you can see, both of them work. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show. Now though, I'm pretty sure there has to be a better way to do all this that I did right here. But this is an idea, and I just thought I'd put it out there, you know, because I'm sure that some people might be able to come up with something better, but this might be opening the doors for somebody to think about it. Like I said, I took the live recorded and cut it down quite a bit because it was a disaster when I was trying to figure out how to do all this stuff right here. I was having some difficulties. I also ended up having to put a little block of wood underneath here, as you can see, just so that the level of the rod was the same as it was coming closer, so that the movement can be, you know, pretty smooth all the way through. And the only thing that I would need to do now is, if I was completely done with it, is put some lithium grease all over the rod right here, or at least the part that goes inside, so that, you know, there could be less friction and it could move along freely. And that was it. But this is the one that I use. I basically just bought it at, I think, AutoZone, and it's just lithium grease, and that's it. So alright guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed and you got some ideas on how to make one of these throttle quadrants. You know, it's not the right size, like I said before. I think these are way too big, but I think they'll do the job. Alright, so thank you guys for watching, and until next time.